Hello, hello, hello. We are going to start working on. Oh, come on. Did you guys catch that? I hit the power volume down on my Roku remote. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Did you guys see that? I picked this remote up. This is my Roku remote, Roku TV. Volume down, and I turned my camera off. Oh, so annoying. All right, so we're going to begin working on the cover. It's been a while since I've made a cover like this from scratch. I kind of did a whole several altered books in a row. So just want to start to finish, show you how I'm going to do a cover. So I have coffee stained hospital gown. And then this is ink, and it's tissue paper. So this is primarily going on here just to give it a little extra, behind the scenes, so to speak. Pardon me. So first I'm going to attach the hospital gown to my cardboard pieces. I'm not going to worry about bumps and lumps because I do want it to have kind of if any texture is going to come through, I want it to be able to come through. So as you can see, Grape Nuts Flakes, this is 2 layers thick. Cereal box. Nothing super fancy. This is off of packaging. So putting this down also kind of somewhat neutralizes the difference in color a little bit. See, you got the dark brown versus what's going up against the white. Obviously, it's not, going to completely hide the fact that it's 2 different colors, but that's okay. And after I did the first one, I'm like, oh, glue them. Glue them images facing, and then you don't have to worry so much about what's covering and what's not. But that's neither here nor there. And it's not vital because, depending on what you're covering, I mean, if you're covering it with a solid fabric, it's not going to matter if the cereal box cover is visible, right? It's not going to matter because it's going to be covered. Now, because this is tissue paper and it is semi-see-through, I do want it to be somewhat disguised as to what my chipboard is made out of, if at all possible. So Okay, and just kind of do a quick trim around each of these edges. If it's not perfect, it's okay. It will all get disguised in the making. There's two, and then this one. Throw all this away. Well, am I leave it on my desk? You know what I'm going to have to do, what I'm going to have to use it for. So let's throw it away. Knocking all kinds of stuff around. Now, because my paper is not straight, like it's longer, it kind of goes at an angle. That's how I'm going to like lay my paper down, is kind of at an angle. This is the smaller side, so I'm actually going to start over there because I want to make sure that I have enough of the tissue paper to, to wrap it. I need to be able to wrap it here and on the edge here. This becomes the tricky part because sneeze. Sneeze. Because this is tissue paper, it is going to want to eat up my glue stick really bad. Okay. Make sure that I have coverage on all four sides. Give that a squish from both sides. Not going to worry too much about like this corner is not glued down, because I'll wrap it, right? Now, here is where a lot of people make a big mistake, especially when working with paper covers, is that they don't leave enough space between the cover and the spine to then allow it, to open and close, right? You don't want to butt it up like this, because then when you go to bend it, it's going to tear your paper. So you want to make sure you leave a gap. And, typically the gap you're going to leave is about this, is going to be roughly the same width as your cover. So a lot of people will take like their second cover and go like this and glue this down. But then it leaves you on this side. What are you going to use? Because you've already used your pieces. And I've also found that that is not foolproof in giving yourself enough space for your journal to not like tear. Just very lightly putting glue on that. Lay this out flat. So what I'm using is my T-square ruler. Butting that right up against this piece. I'm going to lay this piece down. Hoping that my ends are even here. trying to use the ruler of my mat that's underneath as a guide here. As to where I'm going to put the next one. Okay, now this one. Again, pull the glue out. Squish. Eat the glue stick. Chew it up. Get it swallowed with the paper. Set that aside for a second. Make sure that I'm still lined up on that line, which I am. Get my T-square down. And I can see the line down here. I don't know how well you guys can see it. There we go. So I have a gap and a gap. Now that I've sneezed, my nose is running. I was listening to another creator today and got to talking, they were mentioning, long COVID, and I'm like, So in chat, kind of got to discussing like the symptoms of long COVID, and this is definitely one of them. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna blow my nose. Yeah, I have had chronic postnasal drip and sinus issues since about number 3 with COVID. I think it was 3. I think it was my 3rd round. I've lost count. I've lost track. I've had it 4 times, documented 4 times. I may possibly have had it more than that, but I'm like, once I stop being exposed to people, I'm like, I'm not testing. This current time included. I've said on a stream, on a video before, that my doctor wants me to go get tested, and I'm like, I don't feel the need to waste the money on a COVID test right now, because I think it's a waste of money. Okay. So I'm going to snip these corners. And again, it's kind of like doing hospital corners. So you're going to go in at an angle and out at an angle. In at an angle and out. In, out. It's hard to do the ones that are outside your reach. So for this part, I'm going to go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac. And that's just, this is about time, is all. I don't want to have to sit here and wait for glue to dry and hold and grip and all that good fun stuff. So I'm just going to use my Fabri-Fix because you see how quickly it grabs. My measurements are just a smidge off. My spine seems a little taller than my sides. But it's already glued down, so nothing I can do about it. Now we're going to pull this in, down, over here. I hear my husband yelling at the dogs, lay down. It is a constant battle now. I think both of my old ladies are starting to lose sense of themselves. I mean, one of mine thought it was going to be a good idea to come up to my plate while I was eating and snag bacon right off my plate. Like, what are you thinking? So you can see by leaving that gap, it gives us, a space for that to fold. But it's just tissue paper, right? So you don't want that to be your supporting structure. So in my auction lot, I got this roll of strapping paper, which is kind of like, it's tape with string in the middle. Very strong. I imagine it's very similar to what they use in making books, like in the olden days. I don't even know if they still do books, that are like sewn, Don't even know. So again, squished that down into that groove. Run the tape on both sides of that. And on this side, which is much more difficult to do since I have a finger that's not working because of the cut. It really kind of hurts. Trying to do stuff. Center that as much as I can. Squish down into the center. Down into that groove, and then put the tape down. Now, doesn't matter if there's folds in the tape. And just for good measure, I'm going to go one down the center. Because I got the tape, so why not? So you can see how much strength already that creates on your folds, right? Now, I could have taped this before I covered it, in which case I would have tape on both. I would have tape running here, and then I would be covering it with, my outside stuff. Now, clearly you can still see there is a very distinct color definition between my front and back cover as well as my spine. I'm okay with that because I'll probably end up decorating the spine in some form or fashion anyway. This came in my mail. So I may attach it on the outside of the journal. It's a little mini globe. It's very heavy. As part of the spine decoration. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so now the inside of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break into the old atlas. I love that page. Because again, you know, they're world travelers, right? Like that. And then let's grab this. Backwards. This way. I do want to trim off just that part because I don't want the number on there. So these are 6 by 9. Dang it. I'm going to trim this down to 5 3/4. I want that side and I want this side. Let's see if I can get the olive Greenland in there. Let's trim that. And now go this way, 5 oh, see, I didn't even need to trim it. I just wanted olive Greenland. Not all of the island, all of the name. Okay, and then we need, let's trim this. And we're going to go to 8 3/4. This way. And then we'll go this one. 8 3/4. Look at all these lovely scraps that get to stay on my desk for 100-day challenge. Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to put these here and here. I almost feel like I want it to go this one to go this this way, but then I'll end up covering that. I'm going to go this way. That one down. Glue this side. That glue, for some reason, smells exceptionally strong tonight. Okay. Getting that laid down, kind of leaving an edge. Well, not kind of leaving an edge. I am leaving an edge all the way around. Let me go over to my lace drawer. One of them. My drawer is hard to get into right now because my stack of boxes fell. Where do you suppose they landed? Right in front of my drawers. So I'm kind of looking through my embroidered, oh my goodness. Crocheted, like tablecloth type stuff, or my big pieces of lace. Because I need something that's going to be able to go across both sides. Okay, so let's go there. Oops. Kind of tore in the direction that I didn't mean for it to, though. That's okay. Okay. And then we're going to just do so I'm trying to overlap it roughly 2 inches on either side. So I'm going to snip it there. Tear a piece off. Just going to cut that piece off of there. Now, do I care that that's pink inside? Not really. Would I have preferred it to be a different color? Sure. Could I have colored it something different before I glued it all up? Sure. Did I think of it ahead of time? Absolutely not. So for this, we're going to start on one side and put some glue down this center strip in between the pieces. And we're going to smooth this down. Just a single swipe is all I'm going to do there. Glue this down. I'm just going to kind of push it down into that groove. Well, I was going to. Okay, I'm just going to give it a little bend up, stuff that in there. Then we're going to glue this piece. Again, focusing some glue down into that groove. Across. And again, bend this up so it gets down in there. It's not wanting to stick down in there. Let's give it a minute to grab there. Let go. Just a little bit more time left before we get the call of the husband. Put some down the side. Glue the lace. Retrain the cover. Retrain that cover. And I'm just going to rough cut up the top and down the bottom because I don't mind if a little bit of lace is sticking out the bottom. But sometimes I intentionally do that. So throwing that away. Putting those away. So there is my cover so far. Where? There it is. I'm like, where did my spine go? Not big enough. If I get all my laces back where they belong. Oop, sort of. Close to being where they belong. Again, just trying to use up my scraps. This side doesn't have to be covered because it's going to be glued down this way. This side also does not need to be glued super well. Again, angling those corners. In and out. Cutting off the extra. In, out. In and out. Put some glue here. And here. I love this paper. I need to do some more of this and then make some bags out of it. Make some faux glassine bags. Just love the sound. Love the sound. So once I attach the signatures to this, this will glue in here. So that will make the center of my book. You'll see there's only a tiny itty bitty little bit of that pink that's going to show through, which is why I'm not worried about it being pink. And I mean, there's going to be pink in random places. I mean, I've got pink roses and stuff in my ephemera, so it's okay. Next step here is measuring out and marking where your holes are going to be. So this is 7 centimeters, which makes it it's nice when it's an even number, because then 3.5 becomes the center, and then 3.5 is 1.5, 1 3/4, 4, so 5 and right. I'm just going 1.5 in. They're not going to be evenly spaced. So 1.5 centimeters in from each side, and then down the center at 3.5. Now I also have to decide, do I want to do a 3-hole or a 5-hole pamphlet stitch? And the 3-hole is much quicker, but I like the security of the 5-hole, and I've kind of gotten myself away from doing the 5-hole and doing some, some cheater cheater binding by doing, I consider it cheater binding. I'm going to put this as the top. I mean, it makes sense because that's the way the wording goes. So from the top, I'm going to go 1 inch down. Come on, pen. One inch from the top. 1 inch from the bottom. And then that leaves what in between? 6 3/4. So how about we go, it's not quite, but let's go 3 1/2 as the center. My lid's in the way. Everything's in the way. And then between here and here, we have 3 1/4. So 1 1/2, 1 1/8. Right? 1 1/4. So, or 3 1/4. So 1 1/2 plus 1/8. And then between here and here, we have 3 1/2. So 1 1/2, 1 3/4. And here, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. Drawing these lines across. And where the lines intersect is where you punch your signature holes. So this is 1 3/4. So you gotta remember your pages are 8 1/2, right? So pages are a little shorter than the spine. Spine's a little shorter. Internal spine is a little shorter than the outer spine. So what I need is another piece of cardboard that's of the same length. Doesn't necessarily have to be the same width. I'm going to cut this down to 8 1/2. Oh, look, I still have stuff in there. Come on. Just in case. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring out my bookbinder. We're going to give this a peek to see where if it's going to line up at all. I'm going to make a slight adjustment to this one. Where'd my pen go? I'm going to go this way. Just so that they do. I can use this. Don't know where my awl went. Should have been up in the cubby with this. And I'm not seeing it up in the cubby. Excuse me. All right, so I'm laying this up. We're going to see where things line up first, because if they line up the way they should, I love Roxy Creations. She's got this like little tool. It's like a screw tool, but it cuts holes out of paper, and I'm like, that thing is really cool, and I really love the sound of it. So this is just creating just kind of a template as to where the holes lie, because then if they fit appropriately, they fit where they're supposed to. Here's the 4 right there. Yep. See, that one does not fit in there still. Let's go down just a little bit more still. Stop sliding. So we got one there. One there. One there. One there. And one there. So on the line, this one needs to come down just a smidge. This one still needs to come down. Is that one in the right spot? That one is in the right spot. And that one's in the right spot. Okay, so this one here needs to come down just a hair. And that one still needs to come down. Because again, I'm trying to make my life easier so that I can use that for my pages. Okay. So now we can go through here, making sure you keep your fingers out of your way. Ideally, I have stabbed myself more than once with this thing. See, I usually will spread my fingers way out. And back through the center. Remember, I'm going through 2 layers of cardboard, so it takes a little bit of oomph and a lot of blind faith / courage that your fingers are truly out of the way before that all breaks through. And I'll flip this over this side so that I have a little more control over it. A little less place for my fingers, so that's a little on the scary side, but you know. Yeah. I also have to wrap my brain around which line I'm actually punching. Since in some places I have more than one. Make sure I'm following the same line. I guess I've decided I'm going with the 5-hole, by the way. And again, this is my top. Okay. So we're going to call this a day. Come back on the next video and you'll see me sew the signatures into this, glue this into the book, and then, I don't know, we'll see about maybe decorating the front. Who knows? For now, I'll leave this out on my desk. Hit that like button on the way out if you didn't do so on the way in. Do all those YouTube-y things if you wouldn't be so kind. Until next time, bye.